First of all, thank you, Bonnie, and thank you, Robin, and thank you, Buckingham Voices, for putting this together. This is really a great event. It's wonderful to be here with my fellow candidates and to meet all of you. How many of you here are from the 29th District and have Bernie O'Neill as your representative? Cool. Before you leave, I've got a sign-up thing for my website. I need you to get on to. But, you know, I'm running on a... Oh, you want me to come around? All right, I'll come around. What the heck?
They're projecting words on your face.
Yeah, it's like a commercial.
So as Bonnie said, my name's Andrew Dixon. I am running for the 29th District, which I grew up in Warminster. And I have a secret about the 29th, and that is this. Before 2002, it lived near Pittsburgh. And because of gerrymandering, it had to move over to where it is now, here, where we live. And this is amazing to me, and in the entire time that it's lived here, the poor thing has never been represented by a Democrat, and I think that's a crying shame, I really do. So I think that this November, I would really like to be the first Democrat to represent the 29th and represent the people of our area. As I said, I grew up in Warminster. I moved down to the city of Philadelphia for a few years where I went to Temple University for graduate school. Exactly, go Owls. And I met my beautiful wife Anna there. And then when we wanted to start our family, we decided to move back to Bucks County, because where else would be better than beautiful Bucks County? So we're living in Warminster again. We have a beautiful son named Harlan. And when we moved back to the area, we made a pledge to each other that we were going to be the type of people to be involved in our community, because it was a great place for me to grow up, and we wanted to be active people in ensuring that it would be a wonderful place for our children to grow up. So to that end, I was initially, the first thing I did was I got appointed to be the chair of the Environmental Advisory Council in Warminster, which that experience taught me an awful lot about some of the environmental issues impacting our area. I grew up here, but you know, when you're a kid, you don't necessarily pay attention to these things, but I quickly found out that the water in the area has some problems, and they owe to the air bases in Willow Grove and Warminster and the activities that were done there. And I'm very proud to say that with my cohort on the EAC for the time that I was on it, we were able to really get the ball rolling on a lot of great changes and get some attention to that issue. You see now in the newspaper much more frequently. The most recent thing I saw was that the budget that they're struggling to pass in Washington actually does include some funds for our area to start doing some more remediation on the wells, and there's already been a couple of filters put on, so that's a tremendous thing. After I was on the EAC, while I was on the EAC, I should say, I was asked to run for the school board in Centennial. And this makes sense because I come from a background where education was just a central part of my life growing up. My father was a teacher for over almost 50 years in the Catholic high school system. He actually finished his career at Archbishop Wood. My wife teaches at Temple University. Of course, we met in graduate school. I teach a class at Rowan University in English literature. And I work for the American Federation of Teachers. Yes, I'm an organizer, as Robin said. So I believe in working people, too. So when they asked me to run for school board, I happily accepted. I do serve on the Centennial School Board now, and I'm working with the administration of the district and with my fellows on the school board to make sure that the Centennial School District is the kind of district that people would be proud to send their kids to, and will continue to be a great district. And something that will be a jewel of Bucks County for years to come. So why do I want to be a state rep now for the 29th District? Well, there's basically three reasons. I want a representative who's going to be as committed to the environment, to education, and to service as I am. And it occurred to me, I could be that person. Environmentally, I've told you that I was on the EAC, and we need a representative in Harrisburg who's going to make it a point to hold to account the companies that do business in our state and who use our natural resources to make sure that we're not fracking in the Delaware water basin, that we're leaving the environment exactly the way we found it. I want a representative who's going to go to Harrisburg and be a voice to demand that the state fulfill its obligation to properly fund our K-12 school districts and our public institutions of higher ed for two really great reasons, so that our local communities are not overburdened with property tax issues, and at the same time, we still have great school districts to send our kids to, and so our young people aren't graduating from even public institutions with crushing amounts of debt. And the service part, I want a representative in Harrisburg who's going to go to work with Governor Wolf to pass budgets in an on-time manner so that we can move on to the business of making this state work for working families. So please vote for me on November 6th if you're in the 29th, and please vote for all of our Democratic candidates. Let's make it work.